If you're a continuing listener, welcome back. You know how I always do it. Just to touch up on last week's episode, which was episode 1, we spoke about why to the why. And I bet you we're still asking those darn questions why. But hey, that's life, and I guess it's just going to be that way. Today's topic is going to be pardon my trucking. I still live a good life. We have a guest speaker that I am very honored and privileged to have here on the show today, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. But he's going to be speaking about that topic. And I know he probably was saying, like, what in the hell am I going to talk about with this topic that I just shot to him, came from the head. But I explained to him how I got that topic and what it relates to. So I'm going to give the mic to him, Mr. Lawrence Jay. You can go ahead on and tune in.
Thank you for having me.
Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lawrence.
Introduce yourself. You on camera, baby.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lawrence Fajay. Thank you for having me. I'm honored and esteemed to be here today.
Okay, and what are you going to be speaking about? What did you think when I gave this title to you? What were you thinking?
I was a bit perplexed at first. I didn't know how you wanted me to approach it, so I had to try to get some insight on pardon my trucking.
Not that you're a trucker. I just came up with that topic. And I guess the trucking is, like I explained, relating to the different stops that we make in our lives and stuff. Pit stops as truckers. My dad was a trucker, but it has nothing to do with a trucker. Where we leave like our baggage and our lives and stuff like that, and how we work it out to get to a good life, a better life. So I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, beans. Again, thank you for having me. A subject that actually impacts each and every one of us, this pardon from trucking. My father was a truck owner, and he was an entrepreneur that owned a fleet of trucks. So trucks became a part of life for me. I never came to the conclusion of trucking and relationship being correlated together until now. So this is something different, but let's look at it. Let's take some time to look at it, if we shall. When we deal with this thing of trucking, truck drivers make different destinational stops along their way. The criteria for them is to drop off and pick up and move to the next point, and they carry freight all around the world. In relationships, there's a correlation, and that correlation is so often we go into one relationship as a hub, leave that relationship either dropping off some packages or picking up something else to take it to the next destination. And today I want to deal with relationships as it relates to this trucking thing. Relationships are naturally changing. People change as they develop in relationships, and they deal with this change in a number of different ways. And understanding your partner and how to handle these changes are imperative to development and growth. There's a navigational aspect of it, like trucking. And within that navigational aspect, we deal with the intimacy of partnerships. We deal with the intimacy of friends and of family. And though they find themselves in 3 categories, they can all be either conflicting or they can actually be wonderful. It depends on how we go in, what tools we have to work with them, and the people we're working with. Too often, we don't accept the responsibility of change. We don't like change. Most of us are creatures of habit. So we deal with this creature comfort system as everybody needs to come in and meet me at my place, not me meet them at where they are in situations in life. So it's difficult sometimes handling change. Change is important, but change is natural for the life of a relationship, and change takes place in relationships, and how we handle change determine how we move from one place to another. Let me take a sidebar momentarily, parenthetically, and look at it. As we go down the road, we deal with relationships and people, and we enter in relationships. And in those relationships, we learn about people. We go in with great expectations, and sometimes those expectations are shot down after going into something and learning the characteristics of people that we didn't know in the beginning. We live with people, we deal with people, and we try to understand and navigate with people so that we can all find our place and our peace in the domain by which we collaborate in. But change becomes the important thing that we need to deal with. And change is a natural aspect of life. People that don't change don't grow. Change is imperative for us. So when we're looking at change, we need to understand how we look at each individual, because each person is built different. Each person has a mindset different than the other. And when we enter into dealing with people, we're looking at the whys and what's of change. What is it that I'm dealing with in change? Why am I dealing with it in change? And is it something I actually want to deal with when it comes to it? The results can be frustrating sometimes and literally conflicting in some cases, where partners become overwhelmed and they become disillusioned, and the relationship seems impossible to deal with because what you started out with at the offset doesn't seem like what you have as you engage deeper into it. So we find ourselves sometimes at a pause in relationships, wondering if I need to stay here or move on to something else. It's kind of like the trucking business, pardon my trucking. We keep moving, trying to find our way into things that fit us so that we can find a comfort zone by which we can set, stay, build, and develop. In doing so, we moved from one partner to another, and some relationships last for long times, and some doesn't have such a longevity to them. And we have to understand that everyone we meet along the way is not going to meet where we are, because too often we're looking for something. We're looking for a soulmate. We're looking for someone that is built for us. And I believe in life, you only have one soulmate. You may have many partners, but soulmates, I believe, are actually once in a lifetime, if by chance. And many people, I believe, don't meet their soulmate in life. They either just settle for what they got, or they keep looking for what they want. And too often we run out of time before we run out of people that we encounter. And we never know where that soulmate is. We never know where that person is. We look for it. We settle and we compromise. And sometimes our partners become our enemies because we find in them again what we were not looking for. And the very things we are looking for, we find it in other places with other people. So travel is becoming an important aspect of this, and we have to learn how to travel in it so we don't just waste our time with people and end up wasting much of our lives. And at the end of the day, in the end of life, we become disillusioned ourselves because of what we've done and what we've been through. Or we pick up baggage along the way, which is critical to understand, because when we pick up baggage as we go through each relationship, we have to understand that we carry that baggage somewhere else, as a trucker do. When he pick up a load, he takes it somewhere else. We pick up baggage and we take it somewhere else, and we present it to another customer, another client, another partner. And that partner either rejects or accepts what we have with us. And that can be the telltale signs of where you come from and also where you're trying to go. And so we have to be careful about what we pick up. And some things we pick up, we need to actually drop off before we get to the next location. Everything we pick up in life is not for us to carry. Some things are hurtful and some things are detrimental. But at the end of the day, we need to learn, and we have to have a self-evaluation of who we are, what we are, finding our ground, our principles, and understanding that principles and promises are not the same. We all make promises, but we all have principles, at least we should. And those principles should not be negated because of promises other people made. And we have to learn how to navigate through those things. And we compromise, but don't compromise principles because you like a package. Some things you don't have to live with. And too often we miss the mark of understanding that we're dating, not mating. And that's critical.
That's worded
because
real good.
yeah, we're dating, not mating. Dating gives us an opportunity to review, but mating locks us into something that either becomes contrary to what we believe, become dynamically righteous for where we're going. And we have to be careful about how we interlock with people, how we engage, how we give ourselves to someone. And there are a few
I agree.
areas.
Spirits
Yeah,
connect. I don't.
go ahead.
Be at the right point. So, what are
Yeah.
some of the what are some things that you're faced against as a man? I don't know if you're looking for a relationship or you're in a relationship, but what are some of the things that you face and you're challenged with when looking for that right one, that soulmate that you're trying to? Well, I mean, like it says in the Bible, the man is supposed to find his woman instead of her looking. And me being a woman, sometimes we get faced and challenged, with men coming all the time, but they are representatives. So as a man, what are you faced against in some of the challenges?
Well, we all face representatives
Yeah.
that's portraying an image, and that image again can be, it's a facade of what someone is portraying, but it's the actual person shall eventually come out. And time is another factor because generations change things, how we think, how we live, how we navigate, and the criterias change too often for what we're looking for. The word does say that a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. But we have to also understand that when he finds her, she's already a wife. Papers doesn't make her the wife. She's the wife when
Whoa,
he finds
that's
her.
deep. That's
And
deep. Okay.
we have to understand that
Wow.
when we find her, we need to learn how to navigate with that particular person. And too often, if we're looking for perfection, we'll lose the very thing we need because none of
Yeah,
us
I
are
don't want
perfected
it.
in and
That's
of
right.
ourselves. And so we
Right.
lose the very thing we need. So we have to learn how to give and take. And it's something to do with the 80-20 rule. 80% of it works for me. The 20% I just really don't care about. I can live with some flaws in it because I'm flawed as well. And so
Oh my God. Okay.
when,
I hear
when you
you. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's a matter of accepting what's important to you
Hmm.
and what's foundational and what's critical for growth and how well you can grow together and how well you come together. Where do you meet? What's your common goals? What's your
I agree.
commonalities? Backgrounds are different, and we have to make
Yeah,
concessions for
absolutely.
backgrounds. Belief systems are different. We come from different places, and we may not actually believe the same thing, but we ought to have a common ground by which we can stand. We ought to have a
Right.
place by which we can navigate that's unshakable, that we understand one another. And in time, eventually, we'll both change each other.
Right.
And in that change, we should both be growing and maturing. And
Hmm.
yes, I am in a relationship with a wonderful woman.
Oh,
And
well, good. That's
I'm
good.
excited
Well,
about that.
congratulations. Yay for you.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope she's not gonna be making you be trucking, to go
No, no, no.
and just keep your good life, keep your good life.
I'm hoping the trucking days are over. She's a dynamic person, and I'm excited about it. And our commonalities are great. How we came together was God given, and what we discovered thus far about one another is remarkable. And it's blowing my mind because what would take a long time to develop seemed like it developed overnight. And in that, I scratch
Awesome.
my head sometime wondering this is too good to be true. But I'll take the
Mm,
fact that God put it together and I didn't, because everything that I put my hands on, I'm seem to mess up. But everything He does is always right.
I
And so
agree. I
I'm
agree.
accepting what I got, and I'm learning how to work with what I got, and I'm learning how to change in what I'm dealing with, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
learning how to just respect it, appreciate it
Good.
for what it
Good.
is, and not try to
As
make
you
it what I
should.
need it to be.
Right, right. Because everybody comes with their own identities, their own personalities, and it's just kind of accustoming, collaborating is the better word, collaborating you two together. So, what are some of your boundaries in your relationship? Like, what are some things that you will tolerate, if that's your soulmate or whatever it may be. What are some of your boundaries? I mean, you got to give me a whole book. You can just give me a couple. I'm just saying, I just want to know. I want a relationship like that. I want my man to be talking about me like he's talking, like you're talking about your woman.
Yeah, so. Right. One of my big boundaries is God. It's foundational. I want my woman to have an acute awareness of God. I think it's imperative that page be settled in the beginning. Trust is another area that I really think is important in a relationship.
Yeah, I agree.
We have to be able to trust one another in whatever we do. And that trust is not something given, it's something earned. Right. And so we earn trust through what we do, how we interact, how we engage, how we disengage, how we communicate. So trust becomes a serious factor when dealing in relationships, and especially if you've had some bad relationships. That was untrustworthy.
I can definitely see.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Yes. A lot of ones. Well, I've been meeting representatives and fools and cuckoo lalas and everything. So yes. Okay, I'm listening. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, it's all good.
I had to express that.
Yeah, no problem. I truly understand. On both sides of the scale, it works that way. So trust is a critical factor for me, and intimacy is important for me. Me and my partner being able to collaborate as we go through, and how we reach one another. Our love languages and how they work together well is imperative, because we understand how we communicate. It's not always in words. It's sometimes just in deeds, gestures that make the biggest difference in the world. And so that becomes critical for me as well.
Yeah, that matters too. Well, hey, I am so glad that you joined us, and it was a pleasure having you on. So maybe you can spread the word to some of these other men so they can be good men and find that one. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
But yeah, I would love to have you back here and talk about another topic. But that was a great topic. It's gonna go far. It has definitely spoke volumes to some women, I'm sure. It was powerful. I'm just saying, I want my booze. I am ready. Listen, I am at a point to whereas I'm just over all the bull crap. I just want to settle down and be with one person and just enjoy life, Be somebody's wife, because that's what I am. I am somebody's wife one day.
For sure. And that needs to be the principle that you follow. And in being so, he needs to be the husband that you need. And that connection, it really has to be foundationalized on belief systems.
Well, let me ask you this. This. How do you know if that's the one? If that's your husband? Well, like with your mate, how did you know that she was the one?
It was intuitive. When I saw her, I knew. But there was a spirit about her that was just different than everything else I've been through. And it goes back to this thing of part of my trucking. I've been around long enough. I've stopped at enough docks along the way and unloaded enough and loaded enough material to understand what I'm looking for, and what I saw in life has helped me to focus and transition to where I am, so that when I saw what I needed and saw what I wanted, I immediately could adhere to it. I could feel it. It was something inside of me that says, this is it. And it wasn't in her exterior appearance, but it was.
That's what I was going to ask. Most men,
It was a beauty that was within her. It was words that she spoke. It was looks. It was ideals. It was fundamentals that just drawed me into her. And it was this something special that I never felt before. And you're
gonna make me tear up. I want a relationship like that. I want my man to be on here talking about me like that. I'm just saying,
Yeah, but
pardon me for being, I ain't if your woman listening on here, I ain't stepping on your toes, girl. I ain't trying to take you a good man, but girl, you better hold on to him. That's all I'm saying. Because ain't many out here like that. You better grab him quick.
Yeah, so it was all of that, and it didn't take a lot. And I think what's most important is that it wasn't something hard to happen. It was easy.
Yeah.
It fit.
And they say when it's your true love, you'll know
Yeah.
things just kind of fit right in. It'll make sense. It's like you just picked off from where you left off at.
Yeah.
If you cross each other's
It
paths.
looked like we've been together forever, and we just met, and things just seemed to fit. Everything seemed to fit. Colors seemed to fit. Ideology seemed to fit. You know.
And I like the way you smile when you're talking about her. Oh my God. Man, listen here. Let me call on the phone. What's her number?
I know, right?
Hey, girl, listen.
I know,
Well,
right?
I am so glad. I mean, it's good. It's good to hear men talk good about women, though. So, but again, I'm glad that you joined us today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Sorry, I had to throw that crazy topic to you, but they be coming to me. I don't know where they come from, and I just flow with them. So, but at short notice, you were able to, take it and run with it. So that was good. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And again, the privilege has been all mine.
Yeah, we're going to have to come. Next, you're going to be talking about a wedding. So we're going to have you come back on here and be talking about that too, sharing that, if that's going to be okay.
It'll be fine. It's on the agenda.
Oh, shuck it now. Okay, well, I want to be part of that when you do your thing, okay? I want to know. I want to see how it's done.
You are. I'll make sure you're part of it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining Divas Talk as Sisters podcast. And I will see you next time.
See you next time. Thanks, guys.